host. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah,
What's up, guys? How are we doing today?
Paisan, how you doing down there in North Carolina? Still doing college football, huh?
We are doing good. We're out recruiting. Everybody's on the road. Coach Belichick is on the road. He's in D.C. today. In spite of all the stories trying to say that he's not working and here and contract, all that, Coach is on the road recruiting. He's in Baltimore. He's in actually D.C. today. He'll be in Baltimore tomorrow. And we're trying to get some players to become Tar Heels. We're excited.
Okay, so let's talk about all of this because there's so many different layers to this. Other teams that are recruiting the same guys that you guys are recruiting are definitely using these reports against you guys, I assume, in recruiting, which is why you have been so loud and adamant about the fact that you guys are committed to the North Carolina football team. Is that an accurate assessment on the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loud because I think so many of them, especially the one that keeps going on, is being generated by someone who doesn't like our program, doesn't like me or like Coach Belichick, and refuses to allow it to go. It's Parcells used to say to me all the time, quit kicking the horse, he's already dead. Well, they keep quick kicking something that doesn't exist, you know? And so it's click for their website, which is wonderful, and then they take shots at us as individuals. But look, somebody has to stand up for our program, right? And somebody has to be able to put their voice into the program. Everyone says, well, why isn't Bill speaking out? Bill doesn't speak out. That's what I'm supposed to do as the general manager here, is to let people know what's going on with our program. He's not going anywhere. You know, contracts are very complicated. And I think if you understand the North Carolina system, it is a state institution. It takes a while to get things done. There's a lot of hurdles to go through. But we're all getting paid. I haven't signed my contract yet, Pat. I mean, so this is just a complete story that people want to run with. I've said this many times. I was with Bill every day in the office during the fall. We talked about every single NFL job that could open up. And every time I would bring one up with hopes that he would be interested, he shot it down. He's where he wants to be, and I know it's hard to get it through some of these thick people's heads that he wants to be somewhere else. Like, this is where he wants to be. And I am not just a spokesman, but I'm telling you exactly how it is.
Well, I think it's a believable narrative, especially with what you hear from all the older coaches in college ball about how miserable it is having to do college football. But what Bill was pitching to us was basically like, hey, it's pro football now. This is actually in our wheelhouse more so than it's ever been, probably, right?
Yeah, I don't have an owner that's going to come down here and tell me what to do. I don't have an owner's son who's going to tell me we need to look at Pro Football Focus more often. I don't have any of that, right? I don't have that. I can watch tape. I can look at players. We can recruit. I mean, it's really the perfect, and he can build this program, and he can impact young men more the future and for today. And if you want to be a pro player and you want to understand what a pro organization looks like, here we are. All this nonsense, well, they haven't hired any coaches, and the ACC is nervous. Oh, they're nervous, all right. I hired a whole personnel department over here. They're winding tape. We built a whole pro organization with a pro grading system, and they're all over there grinding tape. And then we've hired coaches as we go along. I don't understand how people can keep generating a story that has no story to it.
Okay, so you've agreed to terms, right? You've agreed to terms on a contract, you and Bill both, with the North Carolina. That has to get approved by a lot of different parties, so we kind of got that figured out. College ball isn't more miserable for you guys. You actually see it the opposite way because you don't have to deal with a looming billionaire who has different ideas. Recruiting, he's on the road right now, doesn't hate it at all, actually likes it.
No, loves it. I mean, he really enjoys it, and the reception's been wonderful. You know, it's been really good. He goes out there, he meets all the kids, and then we've been able to put some offers. We haven't been. We've kind of got. We came in here behind. You know, we need to build a draft board or a high school board. We need to build a portal board, and we're trying to do it on a line item basis, which is difficult. But we will find smart, tough, dependable kids that want to be a part of a pro program. There's plenty of them out there.
Okay, so jot that one off. We're checking a lot of these boxes here that would make sense on why Bill would want to go. You haven't got a complete coaching staff yet, but you have an entire pro personnel group, which I think is very new for college ball. So what you're saying is, instead of reporting that we've actually pieced together the most important part of modern ball, you keep reporting about the coaching staffs. We'll get to that is kind of the thought, right? There's a process here on what we need to do, a timeline on it all?
Yeah. Well, first of all, people don't understand the NFL rules, right? So after 2 weeks, when the coaches are not in the playoffs, you can actually go talk to them if they're free agents. So we wanted to wait and see how many coaches who are going to become, who are working in the NFL, who want to be here. And our phones have a lot of contacts on that. And then also we wanted to see what some of the college coaches who were available. We thought building a staff was probably the last thing we needed to do. We needed to improve the talent pool here at North Carolina. That was really important to us. And so we needed to build a system of operation within this department. We needed processes and systems put in place so that we're just not randomly offering players. And we had to hire certain people to get that. Then we had to hire a strength coach, right? So we hired the former New England strength coach, Moses, who's down here. And then he had to hire a staff. And now his entire staff is in place. And so now we can start our off-season program. Hiring the receiver coach, hiring the O-line coach, we were going to wait until the time was right, till we got everybody in the building so that all the staffs could work together, interview those people at one time. We're not just throwing this out there. This is well thought out. I mean, the guy's won 6 Super Bowls. He's put together a staff before.
Okay, so on all of those notes there, I think in college ball, the position coaches can't even really coach yet. Anyways, the weight room is the most important part because that is the off-season program in there. You're going to have to get a staff before, obviously, the football aspect of it all comes back into the college calendar. On that note, Coach Pagano has a couple questions.
Hey, Lombo, I'm sure a lot of the pushback, the narratives, the talk about Bill, the contract and going back to the National Football League, until you do get a bunch of coaches hired, I'm sure you're having to go into these high schools and these homes, you're talking to these recruits, and they're asking you, okay, we know who the defensive coordinator is going to be, right? It's going to be Steve. Who's the D-line coach? Who is the O-line coach? Who's the receiver coach? You guys know, you have a good idea. I see you guys brought in Mike Prefer. Now, what a get that is. I mean, you got 20-plus years of experience at the National Football League, right, coaching at the – I love Coach Prefer. I thought he was unbelievable when he was coaching special teams. So you got a good one there. Talk to us a little bit about that one, and then just how you're defending, Bill and the rest of your, process about hiring guys and why you're taking so long and how you're, keeping these coaches and these high school, keep them on the hook so people aren't killing you and recruiting with that.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Prefer, Naval Academy graduate, would put him at the top of the list for Coach Belichick, so that's important. And, all the NFL experience. Plus, for your special teams coach, you want somebody that understands player personnel because it's, as you guys all know, it's a matchup game. You want to make sure you have the right guys in the kicking game, and I think coach here is outstanding. What I don't think people truly understand about Coach Belichick and the system that he's put in place, it's a head coach-driven system. So everything that we do here starts and ends with the head coach's offense. That doesn't mean nobody has a voice. We all have a voice. We all have the ability to share our information, but everything is being channeled through him. We're not an independent contractor organization. The wide receiver coach isn't going to just arbitrarily pick all the players he wants and not tell anybody. Or the D-line coach. This is going to be a process like the NFL. We're going to build a board, and ultimately, Coach Belichick and myself, we're going to grade all the players who we offer scholarships to, and then we're going to go out and recruit them. So we're a different model than a lot of teams where the head coach is somewhat of a overseer. No, our head coach runs the entire program. And I think we have to explain that to kids. We have to explain that, yes, that you're going to have a relationship with your receiver coach or your running back coach. But the reality of it is, if that coach leaves, we're not changing our systems. We're not changing our protocols. We're not changing our process. We're going to get someone who's going to come in and fulfill the requirements of that job because the head coach is still here. That's the part we have to drive home. I think that's unique in college football.
Watching film, you feel like you guys got a great advantage. I mean, I assume Bill hasn't even gotten into, he said, I think I was just watching as a fan, the playoffs or something like that. He hasn't dove into the film yet. And obviously Bill has had to do a lot for the draft process, watching film and everything like that. Do you guys have your strategy pretty much figured out on what you're looking for, how you want to build a team to make it successful down there?
It's the same as the pro. I mean, we want the same thing. Obviously, we're dealing with younger players. We've got to do a better job of projecting. Well, there's a tight end that we're recruiting in Western North Carolina who plays tight end. He looks like he could be a dynamic center. So, we have to project players into different positions because these are still young men. They're not grown up. It's not as easy as throw the Tennessee tape on and watch the right tackle and see if he's going to play right tackle in the NFL. You've got to do some projections of this and look at the player and say, where is he going to be in 2 years? Especially at the high school quarterback level. There's so much shotgun. Where's the guy's rhythm? How's he throwing the football? So everything we're doing, we scout inside out, not outside in. We're going to find players that fit the systems that are generated from Coach Belichick that we want to run here at North Carolina. And that's why we're going to continue this program in a sustainable fashion. So we know what we're looking for at each position, whether it's the center, whether it's the right tackle, left tackle. They all have a job description that we want and traits that we're looking for in those positions.
How's it been going talking to these players that you're looking to fit into the positions that you need? Hey, we need this type of guy here. We need this type of guy here. Then you obviously find the film, your pro personnel department. We need to find this type of guy. Who are they? Then you go and recruit them. I assume there's a lot of, you said positive reception. I assume just like NFL guys feel good whenever Bill comes into a press conference and compliments them. I feel like it's probably a pretty good feeling for these dudes and their families whenever you guys walk in and say, hey, we think you would be a guy that would fit in well in our program, and then you sell them on a program. How has the reception been? How much of it is money-based, too? Are you guys still having to, obviously, battle with that entire aspect of what college ball is right now?
Yeah, I mean, like I tell every kid that comes up to my office and looking for an NIL deal, look, don't be shy. Come in here. This is professional football. If you're going to do the contract yourself.
Wait. Hey, I want to stop you right there. Are you helping them with business, too? I think that's something that needs to happen. I think there's something that needs to happen. What I'm trying to help them for is stand up for themselves. I'm not saying I'm going to tell them yes to what they want, but they're going to have enough guts to walk in the room and say, this is what I'm looking for. That's part of growing up. That's part of being a professional. We are a professional business, and the relationship that they and I have has to be based purely on honesty. I can't lie to any of these kids. They may not hear what I want to hear, tell them what they want to hear, but I'm going to tell them the truth based on what I see. And so that's part of this whole thing. I really believe that that's the kind of culture we're in, and that's what makes it a lot easier. And these young kids, they're impressionable. They see pro football, all that. What makes it so unique for us to explain our system is we can take, Bill's done this many times, take a young kid who wants to play slot receiver, for example. All right, well, we'll just throw on some New England tape. You want to be a slot receiver? Here's the offense we run. Watch Troy Brown. Watch Danny Amendola. Watch Julian Edelman. Watch all these slot receivers. Watch Wes Welker. We've had all these slot receivers. This is you playing. If you want to be an outside receiver, we have an outside receiver from Penn State coming in on Friday. You want to be an outside? Here's the routes Randy Moss ran. Here's what this looks like playing in this offense. Deion Branch played here. So it's a lot easier to explain to the players, and it's, hey, look, Mike Vrabel's the new head coach of the Patriots. We sign an outside linebacker with size. We'll put on the Patriot tape and show them what Vrabel does. Wes Welker just got a job opening as well, know. And Vrabel, depending upon who he decides or ends up making his offensive coordinator, a lot of those plays were being made by a guy named Josh McDaniels, at offensive coordinator. He's available allegedly right now. Now, how that ends, I don't want to get into your guys' business, but it feels like you guys are going to be able to figure some things out. Hopefully, you're able to have success early, because if you have success early, then it's a much easier sell going forward. Then you almost get in the point where, I think every program is trying to get like this, especially in this world, a little bit of a hometown discount, about what the future looks like. If you're not getting that, you're not going to succeed. Kirby Smart's able to get that down. They're paying players, but Kirby Smart's able to get a hometown discount because they know you go to Georgia, there's a good chance you're going to win, and there's a good chance you're going to make the NFL. Nick Saban was able to get that type of, kind of respect from people. Hey, even though I'm not going to have a starting role here, I'm going to be a third stringer. I know that if I put in the work, I'm going to be able to become a pro, so I'm going to make this decision, as opposed to it. It's like, once you get the reputation, and I know Bill Belichick already has that for being a successful genius, and you, multiple time Super Bowl winner as well, have that thing. But if you can win quick, all these jobs get a lot easier. Like Marcus Freeman, being able to win quick gets much easier. If it's like hey, we need 4 or 5 years to win, nobody's sticking with you. I mean, that's just how it is. It's crazy time in college ball. I can't wait to watch you guys operate.